In Total War Three Kingdoms, you'll take control of a warlord of ancient China and unite the land under your banner. Together, we'll look at each of the starting warlords, detailing their playstyle, who they were, and how it all panned out for them historically. Zhang Yan, the king of Black Mountain, first appears as a bandit in the history of the Three Kingdoms. But when he realizes the major warlords are desperate for mercenaries, he stops raiding their villages and becomes one of the great success stories of the era. Nicknamed the Flying Swallow for his speed and agility, the first we hear of Zhang Yan is when he and a fellow bandit leader, Zhang Zhuo, raid the town of Yingtao. But it went sideways, and only Yin made it out alive. The other bandits' dying order put Yin in charge of both clans, and to honor his memory, Yin of the county Chu became Zhang Yan. But Zhang Yan wasn't just some likable rogue. He must have been a truly charismatic and capable leader, because by the game's start in AD 190, Zhang Yan had united all the bandit clans in the Black Mountains under his banner, putting together his own feared band of merry men with such memorable names as Zhang, Lord of Thunder, Zhuo with the 80-foot mustache, Big Eyes Li, and of course, Hairy Dick Yu, all of which are real names. Said to number over 1 million strong, the Hishan bandits struck out at anything north of the Yellow River, and the crumbling Han government could do nothing to stop them. In the game, you'll find that Zhang Yan specializes in ambush tactics and guerrilla warfare, where he has a chance for any attack to turn into an ambush. And doubling down on his bandit roots, any army he commands won't be slowed down when moving through forests, and gains an extra 25% in post-battle loot. With no shortage of mercenaries looking to profit off the turmoil of the Han Empire, Zhang Yan can call on a wide variety of elite Black Mountain troops, marauders who act as assault infantry, outlaws who are anti-cavalry melee troops, and Black Mountain archers, all three of which cause fear among their enemies and have guerrilla deployment. But while Zhang Yan's starting position in the Black Mountains is easily defensible, Yuan Shao and Gongsun Zan sit right beside your borders and make expansion difficult. So your best bet will be to ally yourself with one of these powerful warlords, and time your inevitable betrayal for maximum effect. This fluid view on allegiance also means that Zhang Yan is the only faction able to engage in diplomacy with the Yellow Turbans, since many of the bandits in his army were originally part of the rebellion. Zhang Yan does this with his unique Black Mountain hideout building, which you can specialize depending on your needs. One path increases public order, allows for more administrators, and improves diplomatic relations with any Han Empire factions. Or you could improve relations with the Yellow Turbans, allying with them and calling them to your aid on the campaign map, as well as increasing your spy limit. And if neither of those sound appealing to you, you can always just depend on yourself and increase your army limit and post-battle loot. With all these bonuses to ambush and looting, it's no wonder that many players call Zhang Yan the Skaven of the Three Kingdoms. But whether you choose to ally with the Yellow Turbans, integrate into the Han Empire, or strike out on your own, Zhang Yan's campaign is always about going after the biggest take possible. Zhang Yan's first dilemma revolves around which of the nearby warlords presents the most profitable target for attack. With Gongsun Zan and Yuan Shao warring in the plains to the southwest, it's the perfect opportunity to liberate some land from Yuan Shao, and that's the choice he made historically. Alternatively, Zhang Yan can instead focus on fighting for supremacy in the mountains, and declare war on a new rival bandit making a name for herself in the south, Xinjiang, who'd be happy to take your lands from you the moment your back is turned. Regardless, they'll just be the first step in a campaign of raids and ambushes, and with the security of the Black Mountains protecting your capital and an army of bandits at your disposal, no one will be safe from your raids. Historically speaking, Zhang Yan made himself a constant thorn in Yuan Shao's side, and his raids became such an issue that Yuan Shao had to personally lead a campaign against Zhang Yan in AD 193. But fearing even this wouldn't be enough, Yuan Shao brought in the superweapon of the Three Kingdoms era, Lu Bu. But even the peerless warrior would prove insufficient as Zhang Yan and his merry men fought Lu Bu to a stalemate, leaving both armies so battered that they mutually withdrew back to their capitals. Employing the enemy of my enemy is my friend logic, Gongsun Zan begged Zhang Yan to help him fight Yuan Shao when his invasion of the north began in AD 199. Ever the opportunist, Zhang Yan raided his way north with reinforcements, only to arrive after Gongsun Zan had already been defeated. So Zhang Yan did what any self-respecting bandit king would do, and sacked a few more cities on the way home. With Yuan Shao now occupied in a war against Cao Cao, Zhang Yan took the opportunity to slip back in Yuan Shao's back door and put his entire unguarded empire under siege. So when Cao Cao finally defeated Yuan Shao at the Battle of Guandu, the first thing he did was contact Zhang Yan and appoint him as general who pacifies the north, then put him to work doing what he did best, making Yuan Shao's life a living nightmare. Taking over Yuan Shao's lands was one thing for Cao Cao, but continuing to feed his parasites was another, so he kept Zhang Yan occupied until Yuan Shao's capital was finally taken in AD 204. Then Cao Cao promptly clapped Zhang Yan on the back, called him a marquis, and gave him a retirement village as far from the Black Mountains as he could manage without being blatantly obvious that he was trying to remove him. Zhang Yan's bandit army was absorbed into Cao Cao's, and Zhang Yan himself lived out the rest of his days sipping Mai Tais overlooking his terraced gardens, which is another way of saying he doesn't come up again in history. But considering that the man was batting 1,000 by going from rebel to royal, and then got out of the game before it caught up with him, he's the version of the movie Layer Cake where Daniel Craig gets away with it in the end, so you can't help but tip your hat at the rakish rogue, Zhang Yan. So what kind of player is Zhang Yan for? Zhang Yan is an underdog and an opportunist, hovering between nobility and banditry and always taking the path that serves him best. Without royal status and famous friends to rely on, he fights for himself against history's most iconic heroes. Zhang Yan's campaign is for players who want to triumph against the odds and don't mind using a few tricks up their sleeve to win. Because if you want to be a scruffy rogue, sometimes you need to shoot first. The visuals for today's episode was recorded by House of Danion and can be found regularly streaming on Twitch. Make sure to check out his channel linked in the comments below. Zhang Yan wraps up the last of my Warlord legends for the Three Kingdoms, and it's been a crazy journey for me to discover the personalities and politics of the era with you, and it's something I never would have researched if you hadn't been interested to watch it. So, thanks for watching. And if you'd like to learn more about the Warlords in Total War Three Kingdoms, you can find their stories on this channel.